Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Uttaram Yat Samudrasya Himadreschaiva Dakshinam Varsham Tad Bharatam Nama Bharati Yatra Santatihi. Welcome to all for this session on Skanda Purana to chapter 26 under the Kedar Khanda of Maheshwara Khanda. In the previous chapter, we have seen the celebration of marriage going on between Shiva and Parvati, the same story continued by Lomasha. Then those excellent mountains, beginning with Meru, became bewildered. They all addressed Himavan, the great mountain, simultaneously. The mountains said, O mountain Himavan, let the offering of your daughter in marriage be performed today. It is your good fortune that the glorious Shambhu has been obtained by you as the son in law. No hesitation should be entertained within your heart. So let her be given to Ishvara, the Lord Shiva. On hearing the words of his friends and on being urged by God Brahma, Himalaya made this good resolve. He made the offer with the mantra, O Parameshwara, I am giving this daughter to you as your wife. Accept her. To this great Rudra, to Shambhu, the lord of the Devas, to Mahesha, his daughter was given by the noble souled lord of mountains. The lotus eyed couple were brought out from the altar. Parvati and Parameshwara were made to sit outside the Vedi, the altar, by the preceptor, the noble souled Kashyapa. Then, for the sake of Havana, offering into the sacred fire was invoked. O Brahmanas, Brahma was seated on the seat of Brahma, the priest presiding over the sacrificial ceremony near Shiva. While the rite of oblation to the fire was going on, the sages who were experts in their field, who were conversant with various schools of philosophy, conversed with one another. Some of them who were engaged in Vedic discussion expatiated on what has been accepted in the Vedas. It is like this. No, it is like this. It is not like that. It is like this and not otherwise. It should be done. It should not be done. It should be partially done and partially not to be done. As they said like this, the medley of their voices was heard in the place near Shiva, in the presence of Shiva. Sticking to their own opinions, they were speaking to one another. All of them were devoid of the knowledge of reality. Their intelligence and knowledge was limited to what is written in the Vedas only. On hearing the words of those Vedic scholars who are desirous and of defeating one another, Narada laughed and spoke these words in the presence of Shiva. You are all great disputants taking delight in Vedic discussion, but O Brahmanas, keep quiet, meditating on Sadashiva in your hearts. He is the Atman, the Supreme Soul, greater than the greatest. Obeisance to that Lord, who is the immanent soul of all, by whom this universe is created. Through whom everything functions and in whom the whole universe becomes merged. That Lord is present now in the abode of the Lord of mountains. O Brahmanas, it was from his mouth that all of you clever people were born. Those excellent Brahmanas were spoken thus by Narada, those excellent Brahmanas were enlightened by means of words of advice. As the yajna was going on, Brahma, the grandfather of the world, saw the feet and the beautiful moon-like nails of goddess. On seeing them, means on seeing the feet and the beautiful moon-like nails of the goddess Girija, lotus-born Lord Brahma was immediately agitated sexually. Being overwhelmed by the god of love, His semen was discharged on the ground. As the semen virile trickled down, the grandfather Brahma was ashamed that thing worthy of being concealed and very difficult to be overcome. He pressed down by means of his feet. Many thousands of sages, the Valakilyas, were born therefrom. All of them approached Brahma, crying out, O Father, O Father! Those Valakilyas were then told by Narada, who got very angry about them. Oh, ye Vatus, all of you go to the mountain Gandhamadana. You must not stay here. You are not wanted here. On being ordered thus by Narada, all the Valakilyas hastened to that mountain. Then Brahma was consoled by Narada through auspicious words. By that time, the rite of oblations to fire the Havana by noble souled Mahesha was concluded, and the Brahmanas engaged themselves in Shantipata, the cardinal points, that is, the whole of the world become pervaded by the great Brahmagosha, loud sounding of chanting the Vedas. Then the Nirajana rite was performed to the Lord by the wives of Devas. Similarly, he was adored and worshipped by the wives of the sages. The auspicious and charming young ladies too of the Lord of Mountains performed the rite of Nirajana. Those who were experts and conversant with good music delighted everyone with songs. Similarly, the great sages propitiated the Lord by means of eulogies. Himalaya, the noble minded great mountain, gave them very valuable gems and jewels. He was delighted and he wished to please others. The Lord, who was stationed on the altar along with his wife and the groups of Suras and Siddhas, shone then. The soul, the most handsome one among the Lord in the universe, was accompanied by all his ganas and parshadas. He was delighted in his mind. In the meantime, the sages, Gandharvas, Yakshas, and many others, with Brahma and Vishnu at their head, came there. The noble soul, great lord of mountain, endowed with the greatest refulgence, honored and worshipped all of them and gave them good gems and jewels, clothes, ornaments, betel leaves, and scented water. Then all the leading suras duly honored Shiva and took their food. All of them gathered together and rejoiced. They sat in rows and food with linginis and lingis and shringis, types of ganas. Some of the Ganas sat separately. Narada and others pleased the Lord with witty remarks and jocular comments of different sorts. The group of Chandi with many female attendants took their food. All of them had their vessels, respective vessels. Vetalas and Kshetrapalas shared their food equally. So also Shakinis, Dakinis, Yakshinis, and mothers and others. There are 64 yoginis and yogis too. There were others too, 10 crores of ganas and a crore of noble souls. So also all the sages and others, beginning with learned devas, other other yogis have already been mentioned by me. Yoginis have also been mentioned. I shall mention their food to you. Some of them brought the pure raw meat of rhinoceros and ate it along with the bone. Some who were hungry ate their entrails. Some of them brought huge and heavy heads of buffalo. Some of them danced. Other Amathas began to cry and shriek. Some of them in the form of Rudra remained quiet. Others remained staring at still others. Bhairava, who was standing in the middle of the circle of yoginis, began to dance. Others, Bhutas and Betalas, blurted out, Don't, don't. On seeing their festivities like this, the slayer of Madhu spoke these words laughingly to Shankara, the benefactor of the world. Prevent these ganas, these inebriated fellows now. What should be done on this occasion should be done with wisdom, O Mahadeva, so prevent them. On hearing it, Lord Rudra said to Virabhadra, Rudra said, prevent those mad and heedless ones, and particularly the intoxicated ones. Virabhadra was told thus by Shambhu, the great god Parameshti, on being ordered by the intelligent Virabhadra and prevented by him, the reckless Pramathas quiet in the middle of yoginis, bhutas, pramathas, guhyakas, shakinis, yatudhanas, kushmandas, kopikarapatas, and others, bhutas, betalas, patrapalas, and bhairavas. All these intoxicated pramathas and others became calm. Thus, the marriage celebration was very elaborate. It was performed by Himadri with great auspiciousness and splendor. 4 days passed with full mind, with great sincerity. The worship of the trident bearing Lord of Devas was performed by Himadri. After worshipping and adoring Mahesha with robes, jewels, and ornaments, as well as with big and small gems, he became engaged in worshipping Vishnu. Himavan worshipped and honored Vishnu along with Lakshmi with splendid robes and ornaments. So also he honored Brahma, he honored Lord Indra along with his preceptor Brahaspati and Indrani. He honored the guardians of quarters severally. Chandi too was honored along with Bhutas, Pramathas, and Guhyakas with robes and jewels and different kinds of gems and jewels. All others too who had come there were worshipped and honored. Thus all the devas, sages, yakshas, gandharvas, vidyadharas, siddhas, charanas, human beings, and groups of celestial damsels were duly honored. Thus ended chapter 26 of the Kedar Khanda under Maheshwara Khanda in Skanda Purana. Namaste Sharada Devi Kashmir Puravasini Twamaham Prarthaye Nityam Vidya Danancha Dehime. Goodbye.